Hello, leaders. Hey, this is Paul Grau, and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges, the daily show that equips leaders to achieve their greatest potential. Hey, hope you're doing great today and are focusing on your brand spanking new third quarter goals. So today, I want to talk about an external factor that can become an internal factor very quickly if we let it get to us, which is kind of challenging in itself not to let it get to us. So, have you ever been a part of a disgruntled team? I mean, like everyone on the team is upset at leadership and or the policies or just how processes work? Well, if you haven't, consider yourself blessed because this seems to be commonplace with a lot of teams that I've worked with. Now, granted, I may see a lot more disgruntled teams than other people because that's what I do. I help teams get through their conflict. However, all I'm saying is there doesn't seem to be any lack of disgruntled teams out there. Let's look at it from the leader's point of view because that's kind of what we do on this show. So have you ever had to lead a disgruntled team? Or maybe you are leading a disgruntled team right now. If so, how did you handle it? And or how are you handling it? Man, this can be one of the most challenging things for a leader to do because it can tear you up inside if you let it. However, there are a few things that I've found can work very well. The first thing that you need to do, if you don't already know, is to talk to the informal leader in the team. You know, they're the ones that everyone kind of looks at for approval and or looks up to when you know what hits the fan. Once you know who this informal leader is, or possibly informal leaders, you should have a one-on-one with them or a group meeting with them if there's several of them. And this meeting is to get to the facts. Get to the facts of why everyone is disgruntled. Chances are pretty good that they'll be willing to talk because they are an informal leader and they're just as interested in resolving the issue as you are. And they can generally speak for most of the people on the team, or at least they think they can. After this one-on-one with the informal leaders, have a team meeting with everyone. And this should be a very informal meeting where everyone can feel free to speak. During this meeting, you should be watching your team members' body language just as much as you're listening to what's being said. If you notice any team members really nervous or maybe super angry, just make a mental note of this as you'll be wanting to follow up with them and with a one-on-one session just to kind of see what's really bothering them. During this team meeting, man, don't be beating around the bush. After welcoming everybody, get right to the point and ask direct questions, such as, why is everybody so disgruntled? Why does everybody seem angry? Why is everyone so tense and bitter? Ask them what role that you may play in their emotions. And ask them what you can do to help the situation. And then ask them what else can be done. And ask a few times, what else? What else? What else? What else can be done? Because the more times you ask what else, the more answers that you're going to get. Now, you may want to have somebody record all the questions, and you definitely want to ensure that you discuss each question and answer as many as you can. At the end of the meeting, your team should have had the majority of their questions answered. And for any of the questions that you may not know the answer to, tell them that you're going to find out as soon as possible and then get back to the entire team with an answer. There are always reasons behind disgruntled teams, especially if nearly everyone on the team is feeling and acting the same way. There's got to be a reason. As their leader, you must address their issues head on. And this is one thing that you just cannot afford to shy away from. Disgruntled teams will not last, and neither will the business or organization. So don't let it linger on. Here's the tough part of this whole thing. You may actually be the reason they're disgruntled. Your leadership or management style may be the reason. And if that is the reason, you need to be willing to listen to your team members and hear them out, because it may just be the most valuable feedback that you're ever going to receive in your life. You see, we all have blind spots, or, the things that we just don't know about ourselves. And if your team members are willing to take a chance to uncover one of your blind spots and tell you about it, man, be thankful. I mean, be grateful. And then heed what they're telling you. Now, I know this is just scratching the surface on leading a disgruntled team, but the bottom line is that you need to be communicating with your disgruntled team in order to thrive. So don't hesitate. Address it today. And that's your challenge. Hey, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And be sure to join us tomorrow as we're going to talk about another external factor that impacts your leadership. Until then, run to your challenges.